Oh, buddy. Oh, all right. We are live. Give it a minute. Oh, let's see if we can get anyone in here. All right. So, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Angling Unraveled with Mitch and Doug. This week, we're gonna have Tom on from Avid Anglers Promotions. Doug and I are going to talk a little bit about what we've been up to the last few weeks. We haven't been live. We've been trying to get things settled in. Just taking a little break from everything now that the season ended after the last event on Lanier. So, Doug, you want to talk about your last event?
So Lanier, I had an okay tournament there, I guess, but I had one bad day that kind of messed me up. But beyond that, after Lanier, it was more trying to work on partnerships and stuff for 2024. So I haven't put too much time into social media since I've been trying to do that, contacting different places and trying to have conversations with different companies and whatnot. So I've been busy doing that. And then that kind of rolled into where I'm at now, which is back home in Wisconsin, visiting with family and friends, and probably have Thanksgiving and do a little deer hunting, and then back to work next week. So,
yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. And I had a pretty decent tournament at Lanier for not having any practice. Last day, things just didn't come together. You know how it goes. And then after that, I've been just hanging out in Michigan, getting things around, out fun fishing, just hanging out at straight up mounts, putting on that dual NBT setup we got now.
yeah, if you guys have seen that, you need to go to his page and check that out.
I'm running a 22-inch battleship on a 22-inch battleship above a 16-inch destroyer from NBT. It's an absolute unbelievable setup, and the Raging Cajun over at Straight Up Mounts did an unbelievable job doing a custom setup for me, and he's willing to do that with anybody who has an NBT graph. If you want to have one installed, get with him, and I'll actually come over and I'll install it for you. I'll install the unit while he's installing all of the graph mounts and everything. So that's something cool that I've been up to lately. Other than that, I moved to New Hampshire for the next 5 months for work. I got called for one of these power companies that need someone to come out. And so we're out here in New Hampshire for the next 5 months. So enjoy the cold weather, I guess. Do some ice fishing, hopefully. But really, that's about it. I did a little bit of duck hunting. Huh?
You can keep your ice fishing.
Oh, shoosh. You'll like it with live scope. But no, I got to do a little duck hunting. Hopefully I can go back before season and get a little bit more in. So, but all right, without further ado, we're going to bring Tom on. Tom is the owner of Avid Angler Promotions, and we'll let him explain a little bit about what it is. How's it going, Tom?
It's going pretty well. How you guys doing? It's good to see you again.
Pretty good. Pretty good to see you too.
Yep. Thanks a lot for having me in.
Yeah, it should be a good, very informative podcast tonight. We're having Tom on to explain a little bit about what he does for anglers, and I guess I'll let him explain it a little bit better so I don't mess it up. But if you want to tell him what you do, Tom, go for it.
Well, I pretty much fill the gap for anglers of any level to help them come up with promotional materials to develop relationships and eventually land those important sponsorships and partnerships that you guys need to survive on tour. So really, it kind of started out as a friend just suggested that with my background, and I happen to have a bit of an oddball skill set where I have some graphic design background. I have some writing background, journalism background, marketing background, and I happen to be a tournament fisherman, bass tournament fisherman. So a friend of mine one day just suggested, he goes, I'm on tour and there's a lot of guys that struggle with putting together, a good quality resume. And he just suggested that, I open myself up to doing that kind of work. And I got one or two clients relatively soon. And the next thing you know, I got a website, and I'm doing this on the side now. So I've been in the printing and marketing industry for probably 30 years now, and I've been bass tournament fishing since 1999. So, really pretty much anybody that decides to work with me, you're getting the whole package basically. I mean, I'm in your brain, I'm in your mindset. I've also had a lot of contact over the years with industry professionals, industry owners, and I kind of know what it is they look for, in a representative for their companies. So, as you guys can both attest, we've put together some nice materials for the both of you. And I mean, Doug and I have been working together, what, 4 years now, maybe?
Probably longer than that.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
everybody who's watching, and can't tell how many or who's watching, but just as a blanket statement, if you really want to get into the game and basically make yourself more marketable, you guys should start following these two right here. These are two of the best examples of guys that are really capitalizing on social media. Obviously, they're doing a podcast now, but they've also put together some really good promotional materials for themselves. They're both well spoken. They both know what they want, and that's really the important thing. Is to be your own best salesman. And my job is to make you look as good as possible and sound as good as possible on paper, and land those very important sponsorships. So I think I covered it, didn't I?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think that with using Tom over the years, it's really, I know what I want to say, but I can't say it. All of us don't have the best grammar. Some of us are better at English than others. I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to put it on paper. That's where Tom comes in. He can make you sound like not an idiot, which is perfect for me. A big dummy.
And and another big thing too that it does is it makes all your stuff that you send in look a lot more professional. So when you send it in, like all the companies, they're getting thousands and thousands of resumes and media packages, but Tom takes the time and makes it about you, about the company and stuff like that. So that way they can really relate to it, and they see that you really mean, you're not just the average person that you're going to them with. So all your packaging
actually catered to you, and your personality transfers over into your resume when you send it to these companies. And Tom does an excellent job doing that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
Definitely. No, definitely. This year I've locked in a lot of deals with that. Probably, I don't know if it would have been possible without having that media package done and my angler profile and stuff like that. Like, it really helps out a lot more than what you guys realize.
Well, I think Doug also hit on, or maybe it's you, Mitch, but hit on a good point, is that everything is customized, to each individual. And I think, the whole key is to make yourself stand out from a crowd. And like Doug said, capture your personality and make sure that that's incorporated into your, resume or cover letter. We've done all different kinds of stuff. I mean, I've done business cards, brochures for guys. I've done media kits for guys, even PowerPoint presentations. So, it's pretty endless. I mean, if anybody has an idea, I can usually take it to fruition. And I'm not terribly expensive. I don't do this full time, and I really try to be fair with my time. And usually I spend a good deal more of my time than I actually bill for, because I spend a lot of it looking for a specific image, or maybe just keeping rewording something until I feel comfortable the way it sounds, and that it doesn't sound like it wouldn't come out of the mouth of the client.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Tom's talking about. He's really been taking it to me over the years. He's very for what you're getting. He is very affordable and it's extremely high quality stuff. So
I can tell you, I thought it was going to be the double the amount of price of what I paid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm one of you guys. I know that that extra cash going out, yeah, you got to spend a little money to try to make a little money, but you know, my job is not to rip anybody off or overcharge. You know, really, the best feeling for me is when I get a text or an email or a phone call from one of you guys saying that, hey, you know, I just landed this big deal, or hey, I landed 3 small deals, but those 3 small deals are actually going to help me get through the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So, you know, even just someone to pay for a boat wrap is huge. I mean, you guys know what an expense that is. So, you know, just the fact that they want to go in on that, you know, takes a lot of the financial pressure off you guys, and it makes you look a whole lot more professional when you're out there. You know, exposure is a big deal in your line of work.
Yeah,
So,
we all know that bass fishermen are broke, so
yeah,
every little bit helps.
Yeah,
We live to fish. So
exactly. Yeah, you don't want to have to worry about sentence structure and you know, things like that. You can leave that up to me. But for anybody who's interested, it's avidanglerpromotions.com. Pretty easy to find me. You can also find on Facebook. I have a Facebook page as well as a website, and I have samples of my work on both the website and the Facebook page. They're a little outdated, and I keep talking to my web guy about updating some stuff, and hopefully it'll happen by the end of the year. So.
And you've got you just started a TikTok account as well.
Yeah.
What are your kind of plans for your TikTok account so people can head over there and follow that too?
Yeah, that's thanks for bringing that up. My plan for the TikTok account is to have little 30-second, you know, I don't know if I'm going to call it like tips from Tom, or you know, maybe kind of like poke my head in and say, did you know? You know, something like that. I mean, I know there's other people on TikTok that say stuff like that, but I'll find my own little nugget and try to use that. So hopefully I'll start to gain a little bit of a following, and you know, ultimately, you know, get some more client work out of it. But you know, again, I'm not here to, you know, rip anybody off. I'm here because I'm passionate about the sport. I love helping guys because I live vicariously through you. I'm too old and too orthopedically challenged to go do something like that. And plus, I just started fishing tournaments when I was 30. So I always fished, but only started tournament fishing when I was 30. So it's kind of a late start for majority of people.
And with what Tom was saying, that he's a bass angler himself, that transfers into the materials that he gives you because he actually understands everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going to a normal person that just does random resumes isn't going to give that to you. It's going to be very bland and not catered to what fishing industry professionals are looking for. So it's definitely beneficial to use somebody that actually knows about the industry. And Tom has definitely done that for me over the years. I can tell you it's gotten me partnerships. And I've gotten compliments on the materials that I've sent out to companies after I've got the conversation going about how it's, you know, probably one of the best media packets that they've seen. It's included, you know, Tom will do custom stuff for you. I have a couple custom things in mind that I'm not going to talk about on here because I'm going to rename it special, but he can cater it to whatever you guys are looking for and whatever your companies that you're talking to are looking for, as far as custom proposals and everything and anything in between.
Yeah.
Yep. I also do some oddball stuff. Like today, I got a phone call from a guy who started out as just a resume client. He then became a rod company owner, and now he is starting a line of fishing line. And he asked me if I would be willing to design the packaging, which I'm thrilled about. So that's like going to be a new little feather in the cap for me. But the funny part is I work in the carton and packaging industry right now, so it's kind of right up my alley. And I'm just looking forward to, you know, coming up with some concepts for him to look over. And if you guys, you know, it's kind of an unusual thing, but it's a catfish fishing guy. So but I've got bass guys, I've got walleye guys, I got catfish, I've got men, I've got women, I've got high schoolers, I've got college age clients. So, I pretty much, have had just about everything come across. So I haven't done any saltwater guys yet, but you never know.
Oh, those are the guys you can upcharge. They got all kinds of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but one thing
go ahead.
I would say one thing that like I can't stress enough is like how like you'll call and just sit there and have a personal conversation with you just to get to know you and for an hour or so just to get to know you so you know how to write it up, like if you're a funny guy or more serious like Doug is, and
Oh, come on.
and all, but Tom really gets to know you before he writes that into your package. So your personality really comes out in the pack in all the stuff that he does for you.
Yep, for sure.
Are people able to ask questions in this format?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
just curious if anybody has any questions.
No, yeah. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and we'll make sure to pin them so that way we can read them out for everyone. So, you've been doing any fishing, Tom, or is your boat all blued up for the winter? Mine got the blue shrink wrap on it for the winter since I came up here.
Yeah, I think 2 Saturdays ago I finally wrapped it up. Got the engine winterized. I do not have a garage, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have a slab where a garage used to be. So I used the heavy duty cover that came with it, and then I also put an additional full length blue tarp, and then just really cinch everything down nice and tight to prevent the ice and everything. I also built a PVC frame for the inside of it, to help support any ice and snow that might happen over the winter. I live in the Northeast, not quite as far north as where you are now, but we do get our share of ugly weather. And I am a little depressed. I went out on the Hudson River last Sunday, and usually the stripers are all mixed in with the smallmouth. And people might scratch their heads and be like, Hudson River, isn't that a sewer? No, it's not. It's actually been cleaned up over the last 30, 40 years. And it's really a great fishery. I'm not into tidal water. That's not my deal. That's why I always go with that buddy of mine. He's a river rat. And so I was able to get my last couple of fish last Sunday. So, and then now I'm just going to concentrate on, doing some promotions and, try to get some work over the, cause this keeps me happy if I can't fish, at least I have a finger, in it, in the, and talking to guys like you always gets me jacked up for, the next season. And, God knows how many times either I've shared or you guys have shared, a technique or a little twist on a technique, or even Mitch, you and the graphs and everything. It's just like, you learn so much by talking to all these people that, I have contact with. So hopefully something rubs off from me. I try to, coach people when it comes to contacting. I mean, Doug and I had a lengthy discussion about cold contacting, which is one of the hardest things to do.
Yep.
And we, developed a little bit of a system, and I wrote it up, and he could tell you whether he's gotten any results from it or not. I know it's kind of tough, but so I just try to tell people, when you step up to the microphone at the weigh-in, have something ready to say, right, guys? You want to be memorable. You don't want to look like an idiot, but you want to be memorable. You want to have something meaningful to say, whether you compliment a competitor that did something cool, either was very gracious about the area they're in, or maybe they towed you in on a practice day, or, maybe loaned you some tackle that you forgot to bring with you. I mean, there's nothing more boring than hearing those guys say, well, yeah, they really weren't biting today. You want to say something cool. I think I saw Mitch, you were wearing a hat or something one time at one of the weigh-ins, and it's like, people remember that stuff.
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, we were doing a little a prank thing, or not really a prank, just whoever had the least amount of weight after the first day had to wear the hat on stage. And I think I got stuck with the hat one day, and Adam got the pony the next day or something. We split it the one day. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's a lot of cool things that we do and like to have fun with.
Yeah, you guys seem to have a pretty good time when you're out there at the events, and I definitely see a lot of camaraderie between you guys, and or the two of you specifically.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that. I did have a fishing buddy that would go to events with me, but he's since retired up to upstate New York, and he's living the life he always wanted to live. Right up there, up amongst the Finger Lakes, and 40 minutes from Lake Ontario, and an hour and a half from Lake Champlain. So I mean, it's really he doesn't need me anymore.
Yeah, I can tell you, being up here in New Hampshire, being up here in winter sucks because I'm only about 3 hours from Lake Champlain from where I'm at, and I've been itching. I've been looking at it on the map, going, I wish I wouldn't have shrink wrapped my boat already. I could have got 1 or 2 more trips in if I would have brought it out here.
Well, you got Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
So there's a good couple lakes up in that neck of the woods, but Champlain, Plattsburgh is my nemesis. Ticonderoga is where I've cashed checks. So, I don't know what it is about that murky water down in the south, but it just suits my style. If I can heavy flip or throw a frog or a buzzbait or a gigantic soft plastic, I mean, I'm happy. I like smallmouth fishing, but Plattsburgh is so clear up there. I mean, you can see, bedding fish in 30 feet of water. It's crazy. So
that's what I like. Dirty water gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm used to sight fishing fish on Torch Lake in 40 feet. I mean,
yeah.
It's something unreal.
Well, when you get older and your eyes aren't as good anymore, when you got to wear bifocals, then you'll maybe understand where I'm coming from.
we can put you a magnifying glass in a flogger, get one
Yeah.
big old magnifying glass and stick in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the summer. Like if we have a light winter, I'm gonna shrink wrap my boat pretty early this year and tow it on up for probably like the last week I'm here, and then make a little detour trip on the way home and hit Champlain and St. Lawrence and early in the year, I think is what I'm going to do, and then go back home.
Yep. Well, I don't think the St. Lawrence ever freezes over. So
no, I got to get back pretty quick after this job because I got to go to Wisconsin for the Bass Nation regional tournament on the
that's right. Yeah.
So yeah. I'll be heading out to that, and I'll be there May 8th through the 10th, I think, is what the tournament dates are.
Why don't you guys tell everybody, what you have lined up as far as the tours for yourselves next year?
Yeah. I guess we haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah, no, we haven't. We're kind of doing different things next year.
Yep.
So go ahead, Doug.
So I am re-signed with the NPFL, so I'll be fishing with them again next year. I am also planning on fishing an entire division of the Toyota Series to try and qualify for their championship, for kind of something extra to do, I guess. And then earlier this year, I qualified for the Bass Nation National Championship. So I'll be headed to Grand Lake, Oklahoma in November, which I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a new experience. And so I've got a lot on my plate next year. I'm trying to pack some more tournaments on. I love fishing with the NPFL, but 6 tournaments isn't enough for me in a year, especially doing it for a living. I need to pile some more on my plate. So I've done that this year, and I'm looking forward to fishing Guntersville. I'm going to be torturing everybody that can't fish right now over the next 4 months because I'll be spending some time in Guntersville. But I got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's going to be a trip on one of my long weekends where I come to Guntersville.
Yeah, you need to go. So it's if you ever have an opportunity, anybody out there, to go to Guntersville, it's a world-class fishery for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So,
I was gonna say, Mitch, what are you doing?
I'm actually changing things up this year. I got a little bit of family things going on. So I'm going to back away from the NPFL this year, hopefully come back in 2025. I'm going to focus on social media primarily this year. I'm fishing a lot of the people in Michigan that are watching. I'm fishing the Big Stack, which is an invitational for payback. You have to qualify for the solo stack, but since I fished the NPFL, I got an invite to go right into the Big Stack. So I'm going to fish that, and then I'm going to fish their qualifying series, the solo stack, and then I think Brian Vandermeer and I are going to fish their team trail, fish that, and I think I'm going to do the northern division of the Toyotas. I think I'm going to go fish St. Lawrence. I think it's St. Lawrence, Champlain, and the Potomac this year. So I think I'm going to do those depending on schedule conflicting and stuff like that. And then if it conflicts too much, I think I'm just going to do the Northern Opens, and all St. Clair's right down the road. So I know I'll do really good on that tournament. So that's a really good option for me. I'm just waiting for the schedule to get released for payback, and then it's going to determine where I go from there on Toyotas. I really like to do the Toyotas if I can and try and qualify for the invitationals. But I think that's the route I'm going to go for now this year, and then mainly just focus on social media. I'm going to hire a videographer, go around, do a couple commercials for a couple different companies. I got some stuff in the works that I can't talk too much about yet, that I'm going to be doing a lot of filming around the country, promoting some stuff. So that'll be something big and really cool to see. So you guys wait till after the first of the year, and that's going to be getting released.
Well, you guys are both busy.
Yeah. This is going to be I think my busiest year yet for sure.
I want to take a second to touch on something that Mitch said. As far as the business side of things and social media, there's been some anglers recently with videos out, in my opinion, basically whining about not getting things handed to them. And really, if you're thinking about having a business or a career in the fishing industry, you need to concentrate on social media.
Yep.
You need to concentrate on the business side of things first. You need to be a good angler. You need to be a great angler. But you also need to be better at business than being an angler at the same time. And that's something that for anybody watching out there that wants to have a career, you need to start studying marketing. You need to start studying sociology, psychology, color psychology. Like there's just a gamut of things that you need to study to understand people and business and finance. And that'll set you up for success. I think a lot of people are stuck in that old way of thinking where being just a good angler is good enough, and that's not the case. You have to be a very well-rounded businessman to have a career in fishing.
Yeah, because I'll be completely honest with you guys. Like I don't have any deals that are primarily tournament based. All of my deals are social media primarily, and then they want me fishing other things, and they don't care most of them don't care what I fish as long as I'm fishing and I'm promoting. And also it's one of them things that you really need to pay attention to. And that's where watching who you hang out with, what you deal with, every little thing you do in life gets watched on social media. And you absolutely have to watch everything you do, anything from your friend's choice to everything, because there's always someone that knows someone. And if they know of that person and they've heard bad things about them, you just have to be careful who you surround yourself with in this industry, because it's so small that any little thing can put a hurting on your business is what it is. And primarily, I mean, this is a business for me, Doug, Tom, all of us. So you just have to watch yourself in every aspect.
Yep. Just really, really the takeaway is just be a good person all the time. Like don't try to be a good person. Just be a good person.
Yeah. It's not that hard, people.
No, just be a good.
Don't be that guy that drives around when you're deer hunting and parks his truck on the path.
TikTok series about that.
I know we've all seen a couple videos about it. Doug also didn't mention one thing. Doug and I have both came out with our own apparel line. So you can see I'm wearing my Mitch LC fishing shirt. Doug's got his Doug Chapin Fishing, and then he's also got a new apparel line coming out. The first shirt got released last week?
Yeah, last week.
And so you talk a little bit about that, about what your plans are with that.
So if you guys are interested in any of the apparel, It's in my bio under, I think it's in my link tree it's the very top link. S&S Designs is who's doing it for me. It's a small business. I'm trying to help them out while they're helping me out. And I have not only my personal brand apparel with my own logo, I also have Angling Unraveled apparel on there for the podcast. So if you want to support the podcast, there's apparel on there as well for that. And then I'm going to start doing graphic tees as well. I'm releasing one a month, and I'm going to go a controversial route on this. I am an avid live scoper, and I'm going to start making t-shirts, basically making fun of certain people's opinions on live scope. And if you like funny t-shirts and you like live scope, you're going to like that stuff. So go check that out. It's in my bio and in my link tree, and just go look at it.
You going to talk about the first shirt, or you just going to make them go look at it?
I think go get it. It's right over there. But
yeah, go get it, and we got to show everyone this.
Give me a second here.
This is probably one of the, like, I'm not a funny t-shirt kind of guy. Like, it's just not my personality. But Doug showed me the shirt, and I absolutely had to have it. So I went ahead and ordered me one, and it's on my TikTok too, and Instagram. So, and have you seen any of these, Tom?
I have.
Yeah, it freaking cracks me up. And we'll make Doug big for here in a second.
I'm one of those guys that both doesn't have a budget for and also doesn't fish seriously enough to get live scopes. So I'm pretty neutral when it comes to the topic.
All right, here it is. Show me on the dial where live scope hurt you. That's pretty sweet.
So, Fred, everybody seems to have hurt feelings about it.
What do I got here?
Do something funny, and so this is my apparel. This is what some of it looks like. The blur and things really messing this up.
Yeah, you're holding it off to the side too much. Put it right next. Yeah, there you go.
Oh wow! Hey man, that looks good.
Yeah, back it up. Out there it is.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what my apparel looks like. That's my logo.
Looks great, man.
Good. Yeah.
Releasing one shirt or one hat a month. I've already got the next design done, and that's probably going to get released come December.
Yeah. And we should have Angling Unraveled. Both of us should have. I know I'm calling Brittany and having my stuff ordered and sent in this week. My Angling Unraveled shirts, hoodies, and hats. So if you guys need anything, just get it's all right on Doug's page. You can go through a link. I think I got it on mine too. Just going to my link tree and it's in there.
What do you guys have any topics that might help everybody out that maybe I could elaborate on? One thing that you triggered me to think about, both of you guys made some great points, about obviously being a good person, learning, schooling yourself on marketing, on psychology, on human nature. But one of the things I always sometimes I forget to mention to people, that if the guys that are really serious about doing this, is you have to learn how to create a budget. And Doug, I'm sure you can attest that you've had some times where you've been camping, just to save money. And I know
in my budget. Ramen noodles are certainly in my budget.
But I mean, that's something, I mean, you could watch a YouTube video on. You could, I believe Microsoft has a good spreadsheet that, you can download, and it's for free. It's like an Excel spreadsheet that basically you can use it as a ledger to keep an eye on your budget. And, you can go month to month, or maybe you can, if you know your expenses at the beginning of the season, you can factor all those things in and try to come up with a good idea of what you're going to need incoming to be able to get through the course of the season. So coming up with just a basic budget is a tool that I would definitely recommend, to anybody who's serious about it.
The biggest piece of advice I can give you on that, or the people out there watching or that are going to watch this, is you can't include your tournament winnings or potential tournament winnings in your budget. because that's a complete unknown and it's
Right.
a gamble. So you have to base your entire budget off what you got coming in elsewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, don't
Just-
rely on tournament winnings. You could
No, it's just like going to the casino and like saying, "Oh, I'm going to the casino to win $10,000 a night," and then going broke.
Yeah.
you could be the best angler in the world and you could still have a bad year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, me and Doug definitely aren't the best anglers in the world, but look how, I mean, I had probably the worst year I could have possibly ever had. I can tell you, I've probably went the last 10 years without ever having a boat issue. And if it could go wrong this year, it went wrong. And it's just the luck of the draw. You have that every once in a while. And it was nothing. It was just little things, batteries going bad, trolling motor parts. You buy the new trolling motor when it comes out and stuff aren't worked out all the way. And it's just little things here and there. It's out of your control, but it puts a damper on you and fishing's 90% or probably 80% mental. And when you start getting down a little bit, it affects it. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely, I would say that's the biggest part for me was this year, just mentally. The mental side of things were just exhausting.
It takes a toll. I got to a point, and I'm not afraid to talk about this at all. I think that people need to understand that it's not all glory and rainbows over here fishing, on a high level. I got to a point this year where my first 3 tournaments were just absolute dumpster fires, and everything went wrong. I ripped the motor off my boat. I ripped the lower unit off a borrowed boat. Just everything was going wrong, and I got to a point where I was just mentally exhausted, and I thought that I didn't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
I got to a point this year where I hit that, and that was right before.
It was right before you follow, I think.
Saginaw. It was before Saginaw.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I had a decent tournament at Saginaw, and I turned things around, and then I started having really good tournaments.
Yeah, it was Alpena when we started to turn things around, both of us.
Yep.
Yeah, and,
was a good one too.
Yeah, because you had called me and we were kind of talking. I was kind of trying to talk you off the ledge a little bit.
Yeah, man.
And it was rough, and I knew where you were at mentally. I mean, I wasn't too far behind you, and I was ready just at one point to pay my entry fees the rest of the year and just be done. But
that's something good to have too. I'll hit on this a little bit as a good support group, and that meaning family members or good friends, just that you can call and vent to, that are going to give you an unbiased opinion and really just give you solid advice. That don't be calling people that are just going to tell you what you want to hear all the time.
Yeah.
And mostly, I think a lot of the success in the industry, most of it comes from just not quitting, right?
Yeah.
As long as you can just not quit and hold out long enough to make it, then you're going to be good eventually.
Yeah.
I think it's just getting to that point, because man, it's not easy. It's not easy financially or mentally to do this.
No.
But with saying that, it's the coolest job in the world, and I would change a thing. I'll eat ramen noodles for the rest of my life. So I can continue fishing for so.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said. That's one thing that I try to stay positive. And I mean, that's why Doug and I go good together, is like when one of us is feeling down, the other one's normally pretty positive about things. We can call and kind of help lift each other up, and it helps out a lot. But
I'm a pretty even keeled dude when it comes to everything. And I always say, you got your glass half empty and your glass half full kind of guys.
Yeah.
My glass has got water in it for sure. That's about it.
Yeah.
There's water in there.
There's water. Are you sure?
Yeah, it's in there.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if there's sip shine in there. You get a little spunky sometimes.
A little bit.
You guys say, never mind. But yeah, Tom. So are you fishing anything next summer, or anything up that way that people would know about? Or
the only thing I've really been taking seriously the last couple of years, I'm president of a local bass club, and I kind of run the show for that. And we're just coming up with our next year's schedule. But I also fish New York Bass Nation. I fish New Jersey TBF. Once in a while, I'll sneak into like a New York BFL or something like that. But my days of doing the Bassmaster Opens are over. I tried for a year, and it was just really tough.
Yeah.
Not only financially, but it blows your mind when you're on Cayuga Lake and you're in a grass bed, and you look over and there's Gary Klein and there's Mike Iaconelli and there's Greg Hackney over there. It was
Yeah.
mind blowing for me, and I don't usually get rattled around people like that, but I just thought it was surreal because I'd never been in that situation where I was spitting distance from guys I've watched forever.
Yep.
Especially Gary Klein, who is one of my personal influences. So I love flipping and pitching, and I love throwing a big old 1 ounce weight, punching weeds with braided line, and I love Tommy Biffle and Denny Brower and the guys that love to do that heavy close combat fishing. So, but yeah, I mean I'm getting older, and I've had 2 back surgeries and 1 shoulder surgery. So the life of a touring angler is not in the cards for me. That's why I kind of do what I do, sort of help you guys out from the trenches. And if I can see success through the people that I help, I consider myself a success. So it means I did my job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you doing any shows this year, Doug? Or are you going to work the Classic or anything like that?
I'll be at the Classic for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it this year?
It's Grand Lake, Oklahoma.
Grand Lake. Okay.
That's why you're going to go there, get a little pre-practice in.
No, that'll be a completely different time of year, but I work a lot with Jewel Baits.
Yeah.
And they're very close to that. So I'm going to go and try and help them out. Obviously, my other partners are going to be there as well. I'll probably be with in the 6 Cents booth, the Jewel, Virtus, Jewel, and a number of other ones, Vexus. So yeah, I'll be there hanging out.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, I'm
meet me since I'm so famous.
Huh? Yeah.
Hey, you never know.
You might have a montage of people from TikTok coming to see you.
I can tell you, my TikTok is definitely taking off.
Oh, it's taking off for sure.
It's on the trend. We're on the trend. If anybody's interested, I go live on TikTok quite a bit and just answer questions about fishing and just talk to people.
Yeah.
Interact with my community, because my community on TikTok is definitely growing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a good community. It's a lot of fun if you get in and watch one of his lives.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
But yeah, I think I'm working a show in just south of Indianapolis in January, and that with Jake's Lure Joint. Jake's got me going into throwing swim baits in the freaking live fish tank. So we're gonna see how that goes. I might end up pulling a Gerald Swindle and smoking one of them. Don't set the hook. No, I think I'm gonna try and come to the Classic too. It just depends on work, and I'm waiting. I got my schedule, so now I got to map it out for the rest of the year and see what it's gonna look like.
If there's anybody that out there that hasn't ever been to a Classic, it's definitely an experience you need to have in your life.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty wild thing to be at, and you'd be amazed at, like, I don't know, just all the different people and all the different things. It makes you realize how big the bass fishing world actually is. I don't know what the numbers are or what the numbers were for the last one, but I know it was insane.
Yeah, I know. I was at the one last year and on the Tennessee River, and it was nuts. It was freaking packed in there.
Yeah.
But
I've been to 3 of them. I worked the expo 3 different times for the New York Bass Nation. And then I also did kind of guest appearances at booths that were my sponsors at the time. And as I say to everybody, like when I walk into those things, I mean, you guys know as well as I do, it's like you're like, this is me. This is my element right here.
Yeah.
These are my people. And it's just so wild to. I mean, you need at least 2 days to go to the expo.
yeah.
To cover it all.
Especially if you're working it, it's almost like it's not enough no matter how many days you're there.
Yeah.
Because you're stuck in booths and you go to one booth to another, and then you just never get enough time. But that's a big part too that companies like to see, that Tom can attest for, is they like to see you getting out and working these shows. If they're at a show that's nearby you, I mean, it helps a lot to show that you're willing to come out and step in their booth, even if it's just for a couple hours, and work with them just to help sell some product, because that's how they're getting their value out of you. They got to have a good ROI on you.
I was going to say, in a business aspect, it's a really good thing to attend as well, because not only do you meet people, but you can, most of us haven't met the people that we work with in these companies too.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to get a face-to-face meeting with some of them and just get to know them as a person. And then that relationship just becomes stronger from that. So definitely worth attending for sure.
Yeah, I still, maintain contact with people that I've met at the Classic Expos, to this day. And, I mean, who's the elite, who owns Phoenix? Gary
Klaus.
Gary Klaus. Klaus,
yeah.
Klaus.
All right. He had just come out with Phoenix, and I happened to be the editor of Fishlines magazine, which was the New York Bass Nation magazine, and it was so cool. He just took me behind the curtain, and we sat down and talked about, advertising and the market that I was actually in at the time, which the Northeast, and he didn't have any dealerships up there at the time, and that was the ultimate reason why he ended up not advertising with us, because he had nobody to support his product yet. But just to have that contact and then bump into him at a tournament and him remember, just all the, it was about 7 years after the fact, and just goes to show you, like, you make people, as I think Mitch mentioned earlier, it's a very small business, so to speak, and you're going to bump into the same people, multiple times. So it's always good to, try to keep those relationships going, because you never know.
Yeah. I got a buddy who's does a lot of the packaging design for a lot of the companies, and he's like, at any given time there's only about 400 people high ups in the company, and they all talk amongst each other. Yeah. So there's only about really 400 people in this industry that really matter. I mean, obviously we all matter, but I mean that the big wigs and stuff that are the ones helping everyone out. I mean, word travels fast when something happens. So,
yep.
Ban asks, what does a videographer pay? I'll get with you. I'm looking at doing it early in the spring, and we'll have a couple different things going on. So I know one of them, I'm going to hire Sean to come back out. He's the one that did Saginaw with me, but I'm going to have him come out and do one thing next year. But other than that, I have a lot of local stuff that I want to do, so I'll get with you.
I think probably January I'm gonna hire a videographer as well for just a couple days to do some stock content stuff too. So
yeah, I need to get down there definitely, so we can get some Angling Unraveled stuff done. And
I'm going with the idea of putting a big old sticker on my boat this year.
Yeah, there'll be one on mine. There's, especially with me just fishing a lot of local stuff. I mean, it's not really local. I mean, it's all over the whole state. There's a lot of guys from Indiana and Ohio that fish the Payback series. So, I think I might end up wrapping my truck in Mitch LC Fishing and Angling Unraveled.
That'd be cool.
Now, if you guys don't mind, explain a little bit about Angler Unraveled. Elaborate, because it's real. I mean, I've only found out about it this week from Doug. Yeah. Tell me about what it is, what it does, what it stands for.
So the basic concept was we wanted to have a podcast where we talked about all kinds of different things in kind of an uncensored way, I guess, so that people could see both sides of how the fishing industry is, and not just the glitz and glamour of interviewing some big shots all the time, just talking about how awesome things are. We wanted to show some of, not necessarily just be a big downer fest, right? But we wanted to we want to be realistic is I guess the easiest way to say it. And we wanted to have a very informative podcast, which is why we have guys like you on, and we've had some elite guys on. We've had NPFL guys on, and a number of other people on. And we just want to spread the wealth and get opinions and concepts and ideas from a number of different people throughout the whole industry, not just interviewing certain people all the time. I think that we wanted to put out a variety of different content for everybody to learn from, for the most part.
Yeah, we might end up ruffling some feathers along the way, getting censored a little bit, but I mean, the whole point of this is like a bird's nest. I mean, you have to pick through it one piece at a time in order to get it to come through, but you're going to get there eventually, and we're all going to have fun getting there. I mean, you're going to get mad, you're going to get happy, and it's just like catching a big fish too, losing one. I mean, we're going to show the ups, the downs, the sideways, the left, the rights. I mean, everything about the fishing industry we want to show and help show like what got Doug and I here. I mean, I'm still learning a lot. Like I've only been doing this for a year and a half now, and Tom helped me out last year with my media package and my angler profile, and we're going to be going through that again here soon. I got to get that over and update that because a lot of stuff has changed since last year. So
on that note too, it's very important to keep your information updated every year, because social media numbers change, all that stuff changes. So if you want to give everybody the freshest numbers you can and the freshest information, so make sure you keep your resumes and all that stuff updated and ready to go, because you never know when you're going to talk to somebody that's like, I want your resume, and then it takes you 2 weeks to send it to them. They're like, it's too late now.
Yeah. We already moved on to the next guy. When someone says they want their resume, you need to have it ready, and basically had it for them a week ago.
Yeah, I mean, that is a key factor to have something at the ready. I know even I've turned in my resume, on the spot, and then I go back and look at it later. I'm like, oh crap, I could have added another thing to it, but you gotta act while you can. So another thing maybe we could touch on is we could talk about, I think I wrote it down here, the best way to put it. I think Doug and I spoke about this briefly, about the difference between endemic and non-endemic sponsors, and where I hate to say real money, but the better money, maybe the potential for better money would be non-endemic companies that are possibly interested in gaining a more regional or a national profile. And I mean, Doug can talk about this in about 30 seconds, but I always encourage my clients to look right in your own backyard. You never know. I mean, there could be companies there could be like an oil company that wants to expand their routes and go out a little further beyond maybe the county or the region. It could be even a Doug really well, a car dealership. They may want more views on the highway, of them, their name. They want their name out there. So don't always think that these tackle companies are going to start handing out money, because that's kind of rare. Maybe only like the top 5% of pro anglers out there get an actual paycheck. They may get tackle and product, but there's very small percentage that gets actual paycheck. So Doug, why don't you talk a little bit, because I know you've had some success, about the non-endemic factor.
So I think it's the fishing industry in itself is completely saturated with a lot of anglers and pro staff members and things like that. And that takes away from guys like myself that are looking for actual financial support, and rightly so, I guess, because there could be a guy that doesn't tournament fish at the highest level or one of the higher levels, and he's got 150,000 followers and I've got 20,000 followers. Where do you think they're going to stick their money? They're going to stick their money with the guy who's got a larger audience, because that's what it's about. It's about sales now. And I've tended to I partner with the companies that I want to partner with, and I'm very fortunate to have some really good ones. I just re-signed with 6 Cents Fishing for another year, and I re-signed with Jewel. So I've got some really good partnerships in the fishing industry, but I think that people get really caught up in wanting to get like a boat wrap that says, for example, I guess 6 Cents Fishing or Berkeley or whatever it is, and you got to understand that's not realistic thinking at all. You're not going to be trying to pull that kind of weight yet.
Yeah.
Where you're going to want to start looking initially, if you're starting to get into this, you're going to want to look at your local businesses, and it's not going to be all high dollar stuff. And you need to look at non-endemic. And so basically, if you don't know what endemic and non-endemic, endemic means that it's directly related to the fishing industry as a fishing company, or like sunglasses companies are endemic in a way. Like I would say that's like 50-50. And then non-endemics would be like Fully Loaded Chew, which is my title sponsor. Right, they're not in the fishing industry, but their demographic still touches the fishing industry because we're all outdoors and we're all rednecks, right? And a lot of rednecks too. So it's a very good opportunity for them to stick in the fishing industry because their main demographic is still here. And that's a lot of things that you got to look at when you're looking for companies to partner with, is how can you help them? And you've got to be very creative sometimes in the ways that you approach these companies and in the ways that you can market for them. And it takes a lot of practice and a lot of thought, which is why I say study marketing and all of that other stuff, psychology, understand how people's brains work. Some of them you can't figure out how they work.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Doug.
A bunch of weirdos out there, but
yeah.
So
you
just need to. I would say if you're getting into this, just focus. Take your focus away from the fishing industry. Start off with, and you're going to have a little bit more success as far as finances go.
Yep, I'd agree 100% with that. I mean, it's you look through your friends list. I mean, sometimes some of your business owners and your friends that own small companies and stuff like that, and just reach out to them. I mean, everyone's willing to. I mean, even if it's a couple $100 here or something like that, and all like promotions and on. Show them your social media, your views and stuff like that, and show them what you can do for them. And sometimes you have to take less of 1 year and to show them what you can do throughout the year. And then the next year it'll turn into something bigger when they see a big ROI on there. It's basically an investment for them is what you are, is they're investing in you as a person. So
don't be afraid to want to prove something. Okay. That's okay to do. For the first year to get your foot in the door with a business. And you got to develop a relationship. The relationship is the biggest key to the entire thing.
Yeah.
If I can elaborate on that point just real quick, like what Mitch said, is be prepared to prove yourself, maybe the first year, maybe the second year. A lot of times, and I've had clients that have done this and done it successfully, and some not so much, but you can actually offer, hey, instead of you saying you're going to give me 10 grand if I qualify for the elites or I qualify for the FLW, MLF Pro Tour or whatever, you could say, tell you what, if I, get you, a top 10 and I get, your logo on stage, you can do what's called an if-then contract, where basically you'll get some product that first year, but if you're able to, as you said, get that ROI jacked up, generate some sales, generate a lot of exposure, or if you qualify for a major tour, then you get the then. And you can decide what that amount will be. But like Mitch said, you're going to have to work that first year or two to earn that.
Yeah, and even with these small businesses, like the small like bait makers and stuff like that, like I can tell you firsthand that I've made really good relationships with people for just doing posts for them and selling them out of product. I mean, and that makes them want to do a deal. Like I know a few of them that have always said that they'll never do sponsorships, and we've actually worked on a couple of them this year. So don't be afraid to work out on a couple of these deals that you think that you can sell a lot of one product. If you can sell a lot of that product and you can show them that if you can do this throughout the course of the year, that they're going to get a lot more out of you. So it's a
Mhm.
big thing. Sometimes maybe do a post or two for free just to give them a little teaser video, stuff like that, and then they'll come crawling. I mean, not always, but it helps sometimes.
Yeah.
I would say that, and a big thing to remember when you're approaching potential partners too, and just in general, is you're going to get 100, 150 no's before you get a yes. So
Yeah.
don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Right. All it takes is that one,
Yeah.
right? You got to put the effort into those 150 to get it.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Doug or I or Tom. I'm sure all of us are.
I'll
Huh?
answer your questions. Don't talk to me.
Okay. Well, I'll answer all the questions you have, and then if you have questions for Doug, just let me know, and I'll call him, and I'll get your answers for you. So I'll put you on speakerphone with him, and then you can you can answer the question, ask the question to me, and then I'll get an answer for you.
I'm an open book. I say that on my TikTok all the time. I've got more DMs than I can count with people asking me questions, and I'll answer every single one of them.
Yeah. For instance, let's talk about that one that you called me about the other day that you got an attaboy for.
So I had a.
I mean, this is a really cool story, and it shows like how good of a person Doug is.
Well, I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. No, I had an individual on TikTok that sent me a DMs, and I took my time and responded to what his questions was basically about some techniques and fishing and just in general. And I took the time to respond to him and give him my 2 cents on what I thought would help him. And he responded to me by saying that there was a number of other pros and people that he had contacted that didn't even take the time to respond to him. And I'm here writing him paragraphs, and he really appreciated that. And this guy actually wrote some emails to my partners and told them that what I did, I guess, that I took the time out of my day to talk to him. And it's more or less just being a good person, guys. It
goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. Don't be an asshole.
Well,
what goes around comes around.
Yeah. Don't be rude. Be kind to everyone.
You never know what other people are going through, right? And if you can help them, you never know what you can say to somebody that might affect their life in a huge way. And maybe that guy that I'm helping now is going to pass me in fishing, and I'll be asking him questions.
Yeah.
You never know who you're talking to.
Yep.
Just be nice and kind to everybody, and treat everybody as you want to be treated.
Yep. I'd agree 100%.
It'll come back eventually.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. Must be all the that good Midwestern blood we got on here. We got Michigan, we got Wisconsin, and I'm the son of 2 parents from Illinois.
Okay.
So I got it in my blood.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Good old Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think Doug, you got some stuff you got to go do. Get ready for your old trucking buddy tomorrow, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I was talking about. So I'm hunting in Wisconsin right now. It's gun deer season, and we've got some extremely strange neighbors where I hunt, I guess to say the least. I've been hunting there for 20 years. It's been the same forever. And basically this guy's just driving around trying to block deer from coming across the road so I can fill my freezer. And so my solution to that is to get permission from the neighbor across the road to hunt that field. So joke's on him, I guess, because he'll see me in bright orange out there tomorrow.
I got a layout blind for hunting geese if you want one.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go put a tent up tonight. So it's ready for me in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Tom, you want to tell it? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if I know Doug has to get going, he's going to get up and hopefully pull the trigger tomorrow. If anybody ever wants to talk about, coming up with your own resume, cover letter, whatever it may be, my consultations are always free. And I only charge for the time that I put into the actual artwork. I do a lot of research outside of that, but I'm always available. You can reach me through email. There is an email submission, I guess, contact on the website, or you could even email me at info@avidanglerpromotions.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can DM me there. But I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. Like I said, I've worked with such a variety of people, all different ages, male, female, different species. I've worked with tackle companies. I've done a lot of work for tackle companies, in fact. Packaging as well as catalogs. If anybody has a need out there, or somebody that has a need out there, feel free to get in touch with me. Hopefully I've kind of laid it out there how you can. Also follow these two guys on social media. For those of you out there that, want to get better at it, these two guys are both, really good at what they're doing right now, and you need to follow them. I'm not saying rip off their ideas, but I'm saying, learn from them. Look at what they do and the points they make, and the effort they put into basically supporting the people that support them.
Well, thanks, Tom. I really appreciate that.
No, you guys are. You're definitely in the upper tier of my clientele that really put a lot of effort into social media, and we all know that that's kind of where the business is going right now. So you got to be good at it. I know there's some shy people out there, but you got to work on that, or maybe have a friend or family member help you out. So
yeah, it's definitely hard to get used to talking on camera. I can say that. I was the one that would just post videos of different things here and there, and I didn't want to be on camera. And then you kind of got to, and then you start getting it. The more and more you do it, it may take you 15, 20 takes at first to get the video to where you're not stuttering and everything else. But
so I can give some great advice on that. If you have a TikTok is a must-have nowadays. There isn't a person that can argue that with me. I've sold more product for my partners on TikTok than any other platform out there. And it's just the algorithms actually show your videos to people. But besides that, if you want to get better at talking to people, go do some lives on TikTok. That'll take the awkwardness right out of you. For sure. I'm 100% serious. Go do some live videos and interact with your audience on your social media platforms, and that'll help you talk better on stage. It'll help you talk better to sponsors. It'll help you talk better just in general. So
yeah, definitely. So thank you again, Tom, for getting on. We really appreciate you coming on here and talking.
Well, thank you guys for the invite. It's really a pleasure to come on and talk to you guys. And if you ever need me back, or we can find another good topic to elaborate on, I mean, I'll be happy to come back, or we could just talk fishing for all I care.
Yeah, I think Doug and I, when we had Ron Johnson on a couple weeks ago, we talked about bringing Ron back on and doing an episode where we only talk about sponsorship stuff. And we wanted it. We mentioned then that we'd like to get you on with Ron too, and that way we can have like a four-person conversation on all this and see all the different side of things, the angler side, the marketing side of things, everything. So, so probably here in a couple weeks.
It'd be my pleasure. So, thank you for having me.
If anybody out there has any suggestions for people that you'd like to see on here, definitely send us a DM, or just send Mitch the DM and he can relay it to me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. So you can send me a DM. You can send Mitch a DM if you have any questions about anything or suggestions. Go ahead and shoot them over to us.
Yeah. And once again, thanks guys for tuning into another episode of Angling Unraveled. We will be back next week. We haven't decided what we're doing next week yet, and all things have been a little bit behind, so we're getting caught up on things. So stay tuned. There'll be a post coming this week on who we're going to have on. Thank you again for joining, and we'll talk to you guys later.